Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with the Print on Demand Challenge. I think we are on day, I don't know what the day is. What is today, guys? Whatever day today is, I can't remember. Just see. What's today, Tony? He said, I don't know what day it is either. Okay, it's day 48. There we go. So, where's the Print on Demand Challenge day 48? That's really sad that I can't remember what it is. So I will say that I am extremely excited about where we're getting ready to go. We're getting ready to talk about books, and then we're going to do a recap at the end. But this is stage 4 of the process. So we've gone through the 3 stages. We're in the 4th stage, and taking your amazing product, your print-on-demand product, taking it through a life cycle of putting it on other products, and then, or taking the design and putting it on other products, and then looking at the opportunities of multiples or bundles or whatever else you want to sell, or selling a product that those who are very interested in your niche would find interesting or helpful or useful or be passionate about. So now we're going to take those awesome print on demand ideas, designs. We're going to convert it into something. We can convert it into a low content book. That's what I probably should do, was the definitions of the different things. So you have low content books. You can do ebooks. You can do just books, a soft cover, hardcover books. And we're going to take that particular product and we're going to move it over to a potential book. So some of the things that you all started off on this journey were, we had smoothie ideas, different ideas for smoothies. That could evolve into an amazing ebook. Again, if you create your own ebook and put it on your own website, then the only cost you have is there are some free capture pages out there that you can use, and so there's no cost to those. There's free email for the first 2,000 on the list. MailChimp will do that. That's free. You can create videos about your book on YouTube and superimpose them onto your website. So there's a lot of free stuff you can do if you don't want to pay anybody for this whole book process. And it costs you $0. The design of the book, though, you're probably going to have to create it in Canva. That's my guess. And so Canva is right now like the most well-known tool for working on books. There are other tools, but that's one of the most well-known. So you can do it in Canva. You can also do it in Adobe directly and create your books in there, create any forms or anything like that. So taking that those smoothie recipe cards, converting them into the idea of, other things that people that drink smoothies might be interested in, like some t-shirts, some hats, some tumblers, that kind of stuff. And then coming back around and turning it into a recipe book, or turning it into an ebook, soft cover book, putting all those recipes in there, or other recipes that are complementary to smoothies. The other thing we talked about was journals, for scripture journals, devotional, and having scriptures in there. So again, your scriptures, starting off that journey of scripture cards, depending on who you're focused on, whether it's kids, adults, teenagers, whatever, couples, seniors, having some scripture cards. There's nothing like that. Converting those scripture cards into the scriptures that are on the cards, or the designs that with them. It could be artwork on the wall. It could be a tote bag. It could be a shirt, any number of things. And then now taking all of that and turning that into potentially a low content book. It could be a notebook. It could be a journal. It could be a full-on book, a devotional book full of scriptures. So making that something, maybe in a writing notepad for those kids that are, going back to school and they've got to deal with being in the school system. Right now, we got a lot of stuff happening with our kids, a lot of stuff happening with young people. And so having a scripture that they read or reference while they're in school doesn't hurt anything, that's for sure. And then other ideas. So we had the concept of endangered species and having informational cards around endangered species. And then, then you could create apparel or other things that people might be interested in to help support those endangered species, or put together some amazing bundles. And then the next thing is you could move into coloring books, or you can move into picture books. So these are all great opportunities from a print on demand perspective to continue to make money on this journey. We went through the print on demand providers the previous week, not last week, but I think the week before, because I kind of gave you an idea and said, okay, these are some of the ones that we can look at. And so you'll find over on, let me push that, oops, back. This side, we have several print on demand providers. Now, some of them, there's a whole setup fee. And so the setup fee is not truly print on demand. A couple of these are true print on demand, meaning you design the book, you upload it to their platform, and then they print the book when the person buys it. Okay. Lulu is definitely one of those, and that's who we're going to use in this example. So when we were doing physical products, we used Printify as our Printful, as an example. So they were the platform that we were working with, we were playing with, we were getting comfortable with. And then whatever Printify's ultimate, whatever you decide to do with your Printify account, other platforms are going to have some similar features, similar functionality. It won't be identical, but there will be some similarities. So your goal is to get comfortable with Printful, so then you can transition to whatever other provider you wanted to go to. Well, the same thing is with Lulu. There's going to be some similarities. There's going to be some differences. The thing is with Lulu, you definitely do have that direct print on demand feature. There are templates that are inside of Canva that work directly for Lulu to upload your books. And so that's why I like, again, the platforms and the tools that we're using. On our first part of the journey, we were using Canva to create our downloadables, and we were uploading them onto Etsy. And our second part of our journey, we were using Printful and Canva to create our designs, Printful to, come up with some products that we can superimpose our design on. Then now we're going to use Lulu and we're going to use Canva. So Canva is like in all three. Again, if you don't want to use Canva, if you want to use a completely different tool, you can choose to do that. There are people that have actually written their documents in Google Docs, because you can do some formatting in Google Docs, just so you know, just sharing. So Lulu is the tool we're going to look at. You can go through and look at Coronado or AccuTrack or even Amazon KDP. Amazon KDP is the next one that I would encourage you to do from Lulu. And the reason I say that is because Amazon's definitely going to give you some level of presence. People are still spending lots of money on Amazon. If you weren't paying attention to the numbers for Amazon Prime Day or Prime Days, 2 days, they were bananas and the sales went up exponentially. So looking at Amazon Prime Days, definitely one of those things that you'll get some sales, you'll get some traffic just by listing your products on Amazon. Okay. So Amazon KDP is the next one that I would encourage you to look into and set up. Just make sure you have all of your stuff ready to go. Then there's Blurb, Ingram Spark, BookBaby, all of these down here. Now, I will say, like Printify and Gelato and Zazzle, they're going to be more focused on like the notebooks and stuff like that, or maybe even calendars, maybe even picture books. But some of these others do more than, they're not doing regular books. They're not doing hardbound books. They're not doing that. So the ones in the middle, Printify, Gelato, and Zazzle, you probably want to focus on them for either soft cover books, calendars, and picture books, okay, or journals. So this is the list that you have, and there's a lot of them to look at. So we're going to focus on Lulu. On this side, some of the tools that you're going to be using are the resources. Some of these tools are free. So we've talked about Designer. Designer offers you the ability to turn it into an ebook and a flip book and all the other stuff. And they're not the only ones. There's some other tools, but you can get that in a lifetime for an inexpensive $27. But you can create your stuff in Adobe. You can create it in Canva. You will have to, if your book is larger than 100 pages. And I would say the 100 pages is semi-subjective. It depends on how many designs, like how involved your book is going to be as to whether or not the threshold is 100 in Canva. We're currently working on a planner, and we've been able to go up to 120 because it doesn't have as much color. It doesn't have as much images and designs on it. So they're allowing us to go up to 120, but then there's other stuff we've created and we can only go up to about 90. So Canva has a threshold as far as file size is concerned. And you'll know it when you try to add another page and it doesn't let you add another page. There's not a direct message that I can remember that actually pops up in Canva. So just know you'll have to, create your project or create another, like part 2 of your project if you're doing like picture books, or if you're doing something that involves lots of color. I can tell you Canva is going to limit you on the number of pages in your first version. So if you're going up, if you're only going to be like 50 pages or 40 pages, that's fine. But if it's going to be something that's bigger and it's going to have a lot of deep, rich colors in it, then I'm going to tell you that you're probably going to have a version, or not a version 2, but a part 2 and a part 3 in your project folder for that. Some of these other tools are free tools, and some of them are paid tools. Some of these tools are designed to help you with research so that you can begin the journey of researching what are the words that people are looking for, what are the books that are potentially in demand, and things like that. So on today's exercise is, I do want everyone to go and create a Lulu account. Go set up a Lulu account, create your own Lulu account. It's going to be very straightforward. I'll go over to my Lulu account. I don't know what's in there right now. And then the other thing is, I do want you to consider looking into a book research tool. Book Bolt, I think, is the one that's most talked about on YouTube, but there's some others that are out there that will give you some idea on sales, keywords, titles, things like that. And then there's another website that if you wanted to do a post for your book covers, I'm trying to remember what that's. There's a couple of sites that will let you do research for book covers. So hold on. I'm going to go to somebody's page real quick that I know. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Wow, I got a lot of messages. Okay. Hold on. Amy Weiss. Okay, so she just did a poll because she's publishing a book, and she just did a poll. Okay, so it's public.productpinion.com. I not ever use that, so I want to add that, where you can upload your covers if you're going to have multiple covers that you want people to look at, and get. I think it's productpinion.com. I think that's what it is. Yeah, it is. So you can get feedback, and there's a 7-day trial. So don't do anything with this until you are at a place where you feel like you're ready to get some opinions about book covers. Now, I will say this about book covers, and you really do want to make sure that you have a really nice design for your book cover. And on the previous list, I actually went through, I talked about a couple of different options or choices. So you could get a book cover created from Fiverr. You could also get a book cover created. There's a couple of different suppliers. I'm going to have to make another column, aren't I? So let me just grab this and move it over. I have to make another column. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. All right. So Fiverr is one for book covers. You can create a book cover in Canva. You definitely can do that. You see that there's options there to be able to create a book cover in Canva. There's also Fluxy, where you can create book covers with them. They'll design it, and then you'll get feedback from them on what you like, what you don't like. You can also go to Upwork and ask them to work on a book cover for you. You can go to freelancer.com and use them to design or develop a book cover for you. And let's see. Design Pickle. They're expensive. I'm just telling you right now, they are. So if you want them to do more work for you, you can. I will tell you that Floxy does have a copywriter. That's the one that I do like. So they'll do designs for you, and they'll also work on copywriting, and they also create marketing videos for you. But they do a lot. They're like a full service. Like there's a lot of stuff that they do. Um, then I don't remember. There's one more that I'm trying to remember that will do design book covers for you. So there's a couple of different places. You can go to any graphic artist website and have them create some designs for you, graphic design websites. I don't remember all of them, and I'm not intending to actually put the full list. I just wanted to put some of them down so that you had that as a reference and you had some ideas to go with. So if you can find a graphic designer, if you can find someone that's pretty good, sometimes going with a graphic designer versus creating your own in Canva, you'll get the good color match, you'll get a good design match, the good layout match, and that could actually help you get more traffic to your listings long-term, bigger picture. So I've had our book covers have all been designed by someone. We didn't do them ourselves because I learned the hard, like you can do something that's basic and simple, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's some that are done and they're really basic and really simple. And then there's some that are more involved. But just having that list available ultimately is the goal for you to be able to reference, to be able to come back to. And then the other thing is, in some of this, you'll find like there's some, not necessarily copywriting, but free tools for being able to check your spelling or, you know, your grammar. So look at some of these tools to help you with your grammar and your, you know, the words that you're using, the spelling and all that other stuff. There's another website called, I think it's Reedsy. Pretty sure it is. And they will also do copywriting as well. Editor, designer, marketer. Yeah. So Reedsy was another one that we've looked at and used before in the past. So those are some of them. If I come up with some more that I think might be helpful on this book journey, then I'll share them with you. So why does all this matter? Well, because of the fact that getting the book right is going to be so important. Getting some sales, much like creating print-on-demand products. When you create print-on-demand products, you know, some of your products are not going to sell. So again, you could spend time on creating 100 print-on-demand products and 20 of them sell on a regular basis, and the other 80 might get 1 or 2 sales, and it's just par for the course. With your books, because you're investing way more time, depending on how you decide to do this book thing, because you're potentially spending way more time on it, again, depending on how you decide to do it, then you do want to make sure that you target your audience well. So going through and doing some research, figuring out, you know, looking at your competitors and getting inspiration from that is going to be helpful. So with Lulu, you can come over here and you can register, create an account. That's the first thing. If you register to create an account, once you create an account, it will allow you to upload your book. And then you can decide what you want to do with the upload for your book. So let me go here. So the options are, you can do just print books. That's it. Okay. And you can create photo books, notebooks, calendars, comic books. Again, some of you maybe want to do coloring books and things like that. You can create a magazine. Again, nice, rich, pretty colors and pretty photos and pretty images. Very helpful. You can create cookbooks, yearbooks, and ebooks, all with Lulu. So before you get started, there's some basic research you need to do on this journey. One, you need to go out and you need to look at your competitors. You need to see what is happening with your, you know, in your niche or anything that's related. So I'm going to go to Amazon. Not that Amazon is always the best. You could probably go to Barnes and Noble. You could go to a couple different places. So let me go to Barnes and Noble. It only helps if you spell it right. Only helps if you spell it right. Okay. So we've got Amazon and we've got Barnes and Noble. So the first thing is we're going to go look at a devotional journal. So the premise is still the same that I said before when you're about to create a product. These are all sponsors, so I always pay attention to whether or not it's sponsored and whether or not I care about that or not. So that you'll see that the design covers are a little bit more involved and a little more elaborate than what we've done with our downloadable or printable products. This was not that elaborate just in the words here, but you've got a whole banner here and the layout, the visual aesthetics of it matters. This one is a prayer journal. Again, the visual aesthetics of it matters. So that's the reason why I say you're probably going to get someone to design your cover. And make sure that when you do that, that you look at, what the options are. I know that whenever I hire someone off of Fiverr, I always tell them, I always select somebody that will allow me, give me 3 different designs based on the words that I am choosing. So that my cover, I have some options here. Okay. So going through this process of, just looking at some of the planners. If you're doing a full-on book, you'll see that the author's name is at the bottom. But some of these others, like this one, the author's name is nowhere on it. The author's name is nowhere on it. Okay, so it's spiral bound. There's no author on it. Now, you will have to, of course, create your account, or if you're going to use your existing account and you be the author, that's fine if that's what your plan is. This may be your time where you decide you're going to go ahead and establish, long-term bigger picture wherever this is going. If it's a trademark, then go ahead and get your trademark, get your copyright, all of that stuff. And you can do that through Amazon's IP Accelerator program. It will be done much faster than it would any other way. You will have to pay some money. I just want you to be aware of that. So as you start on this journey, if you want to start off with just making stuff and putting it up and letting it sell, and then once you start to see some sales and you start to get some traction, then going in, establishing your brand, if this is the journey that you're going to be on, and establishing your copyrights, if this is the journey that you're going to be on, then that's what I would recommend. You will find that as you go through this copyright, and we'll talk about, I won't jump ahead. There's some things about copyright that you need to know. So we'll talk about those tomorrow. But in any case, I just want you to pay attention to the titles. And I also want you to pay attention to, the image, the titles, and the listing for the first 10 that are directly related to what it is that you plan on offering or rolling out. Pay attention to that. Those keywords, the keyword phrases, or the long tail keywords, all those things matter. Making a note on the pricing. Like this one is clearly an ebook. It's a Kindle book. So even though there's a picture of a physical book, and you can create your book with an image of a physical book by using Placeit, so that you can superimpose the design onto something, and then you can get this picture. Placeit will help you to get this picture. So once you get the design from whoever, once they give it to you, then you can go and upload it to Placeit, and they'll put it on the front of a book for you, which is fantastic. Okay, versus it being flat, like this is flat. Okay, so it says it's a bestseller, but it feels chopped off here, so I don't know what's going on there. In any case, look at the words, look at the cover, look at the designs. Your book does not have to be perfect the first book that you publish. It doesn't. We're taking imperfect action. We're not just trying to throw a mess out there, but we are not going to focus 100% on being perfect. Because again, the ones that have the best rank are the ones that definitely they spent some money on the covers. The ones with lower ranks, they probably didn't spend as much money on the cover, and it's okay. Like this is not a complicated cover. It's not a terribly complicated cover. It's just words and 2 different colors. This is not a terribly complicated cover. But again, someone that has experience with creating covers will give you the aesthetics that you need or that you're interested in. So go do research on your specific book that you're planning on offering. So let me go over here and let's see what we've got. Devotional journal. Okay, so again, going through, looking at some of the covers. Some of them are very simple. This is very simple. I don't want you to be intimidated and freeze and not make any progress because of the fact that, look at Miss Charlotte, sorry, didn't mean to yawn like that. Look at that. For courageous girls, devotional journals and sketchbook for courageous girls, devotional journal and sketchbook for brave. I think that says brave. Well, that's, I can barely see those words. Boys, I think it says brave. Just putting it out to the universe. Yeah, it says brave. I think this is great for kids. I mean, I can see your product going so many different ways, Charlotte. I'm just saying, just so you know. So go and do some research on your specific niche and pay attention to the cover, the title, and the description. Also, look at the pricing. Look at the pricing. You can launch this book initially as an ebook and you distribute it yourself until you get enough sales. If you're just working to increase the brand awareness and you plan on launching other products, that's also an option where you sell it as an ebook at a low price just to build your customer list and your email list so that when you come out with the hard copy or a physical book, you can market to them to buy the physical book that may be much better than the initial ebook that you rolled out. So you got to figure out your strategy. Planning is key to this, and we're going to talk about planning tomorrow. But the first part of this is step 1 today. Go set up your Lulu account. So if I when you log into Lulu, actually, let me do this. So I think it's going to take me to my design. So if I decide that I am going to get started, click on get started. Once you click on get started, it's going to ask you, what do you want to do? So do you want to print books? Do you want to do photo books? Do you want to do notebooks? Do you want to create calendars? Do you want to do comic books? Do you want to do magazines? Do you want to do cookbooks? Do you want to do yearbooks? Do you want to do ebooks? So it's asking me what I want to do first before it does anything else. Okay. So I'm going to say I want to print a book. Okay. So now that I go to print a book, okay, it's telling me some additional options. It's telling me this is letter size book. This is US trade, which I forget what the size is on this one. I feel like it's like a 5x7 A5. What is the size of A5? Size or dimensions? Dimensions of A5. I never remember this stuff. So I need it in inches. So they gave it to me in millimeters. I am like all about the inches. But anyway, you're going to see different sizes. And A5 is 5x7, maybe? Is it? It's a little over 5x7. It's 5.83 by 8.27 because Google will always answer your questions. So, so it's a little over 5x7. Google will always answer your questions. It's closer to 6x8. So that's what A5 is. It's closer to 6x8. So my guess is that this is probably a 9 by something or other. And you can go and do that research or click on it to go look. And you've got some estimated starting prices here. They're giving you that information, hardcovers, paper books, whatever. So once I'm ready to get started, start your print book. It's going to ask me to log in. Oh, gosh. I think this is the worst part of all of it, is doing this exercise. I don't remember. I think it's eCom. I think I have a fake account over here. So just a second. It might be a real account. I don't think I created a fake one. I may need to create a fake one. Yeah. All right. So once you click on get started, then you're going to create your account. And the first place it's going to take you to this choice. Do you want to print a book, photo book, comic book, magazine, yearbook, or calendar? And then you've got ebook down here. So let's say I'm going to print a book. Then the next thing, do you want to publish your book on the networks? And publishing your book on the networks, what you're going to see here is these are all those options that I mentioned when we talked about this probably about 2 weeks ago, where I talked about you can publish it directly on Lulu, or you can allow Lulu to do some of the distribution for you to all the big book distributors. That's going to change your price of your book because there's going to be a cost to do that. But if you just want to publish it yourself, you just want to print the book. That's it. I want to upload it and I want to print the book. Then you can click print your book. You want to give it a title. This is the, let me do lowercase. All right, fine. Oh, it did finally. Okay. My fat fingers are on the wrong keys. So eCom Sellers Prints on Demand Challenge. Okay. And then I'm doing it in English, and you choose the category. So you can see all of these categories. Choose a category that you feel like is most applicable to yours, and then go with that. Okay. So I'm going to go with personal growth. Then once you do that, you're going to go to the next page, which is design your project. You're going to upload your PDF. I don't know if I have any PDFs to upload. I think I have a page. All right, so let's go upload some pages. We're working on some stuff. I only have one page, so we're just going to upload a page. That's not a full-on book, guys, but you get the idea. So it's validating it, and my page count must be greater than 1. I don't have anything else, but it may let me actually go through and play with this. So we'll go ahead and move on. Pay attention to the messages that are here. They will come up in pink. They'll tell you whatever else it doesn't like about it. And the great thing about it is that it will figure out, in most cases, what size you want, but it can't figure out the size, and it'll ask you. So it's not going to let me go on. Is it going to let me go on? No. Replace the file. I don't know if I have anything with multiple PDF pages. Hold on. Let me just see if I got something with multiple pages. Okay. Nope, that's one page. Okay, so I'm going to upload the speaker agreement. Not that that's a book, but anyway, we'll just go with it. So that's multiple pages. It has to be a PDF. It has to be a PDF. Okay. So it's going through and it's validating the text. The validation, depending on how big or small the file is, could take a couple of minutes. And if it's got lots of colors or designs or, images, it might take a minute. Then once it uploads, it automatically figures out the size. If you wanted to change the size, you can change that. It's going to display it at the bottom. I don't know. Come on. 100%. Okay, good. All right. So it says that it successfully uploaded, and what you want is the green message. If you got any pink messages, you need to resolve those. Sometimes the pink messages are warnings. So it thinks that my book is 8.5 by 11. So it's assuming the size, and it's assuming the page count. This is like a speaker contract. So whatever. And then it's asking me if I want black and white premium, black and white standard, premium color, and color standard. Now, let me just tell you, depending on what you choose, your price is going to change. Your price is going to show up. I forget where your price shows up, but it's going to show up somewhere. So I have consistently chosen either black and white standard or black and white color. I think our first couple of books we did premium, and of course there was a cost. So color premium is going to cost you. It's meaning the cost of the book. The next thing is that on a lot of the different platforms, there's going to be a weight of the paper and a coating on the paper. So this is 60 weight, and this is 60 weight as well. White paper is what most people choose, but you'd be surprised that cream paper is easier on the eyes for readers. If you pull up any of your books or your kids' books, you'll notice that most of the time they're printed on something that's like a manila paper. It's a soft white. It's not a bright white. And so that's a hint, depending on what it is that you're going to be selling. Some of the things that you might choose to sell from a book standpoint might need to be on soft white. Um, Especially if it's something that the reader is going to be looking at every single day. You don't want them to get eye fatigue. This is something I talk to my VAs about all the time. Like, if they're going to get eye fatigue from it, if the page is too busy, if there's too much going on, they're going to get eye fatigue and they won't use it. So then they won't buy another one next year. And we need them to buy another one next year. So you may choose the cream, and you can ask them, you can get a book sent to you so that you can decide, yes, this works for me or it doesn't work for me. Or you can choose white, or you can do heavier weighted paper. And the gloss, it is going to have a light gloss on it. And I will tell you, with Lulu, we haven't found any problems with the 60 weight or the 80 weight as far as bleed through. Bleed through means is that you have text when they're printing a page front to back, and the text is going through to the other side, or if you have a lot of colors. So some of the stuff we've done, we've had a lot of colors and it didn't bleed to the other side. We bought both versions of the book. But I will say, if you do have a lot of color, the 80 weight is going to be better. It is just going to look better. I put the two side by side and I'm like, yeah, this one visually looks better. Then you can decide if you're going to do notebooks or you're going to do journals. You might do spiral bound. If you don't want to do spiral bound, you can choose something else. So in this example, it's only letting me choose spiral. I don't know why. It could have been the type of book I chose. So it's only letting me do spiral. I don't know if it's because we've historically done spiral, but so anyway, I'm not getting the other options. So I'm going to go ahead and choose spiral. But you see that there's hardcover, there's paperback, there's sandal stitch, which is that little staple on the side. And then there's linen wrap. You got to know the linen wrap is expensive. So you just have to be prepared for that. To start off, you might do paperback or you might do hardback. If sandal stitch makes sense, if it's a smaller book, that might make sense. Okay. So again, I'm trying to figure out why it is forcing me. It could be because of the book size. I don't know. Okay, so then it's asking me the cover. Do I want it to be glossy or matte? I don't have a cover, so I'm going to have to make a fake cover here in a second. So matte is the one that I prefer, but when we got the matte finished cover books, when you touch it, your oils from your fingers, they will leave like fingerprint marks over time. The matte cover looks so much better than the glossy. I'm just going to tell you, it really does. It looks better. It feels better. But again, depending on what type of cover, if your cover has a lot of deep colors in it, then long-term, bigger picture, you're going to have the oils. And, you order one and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you do glossy, again, you can still have the oil smear. And if you're trying to take pictures of it, you're going to have a lot of shine and glare. So what I did was we took the pictures using the matte and then we sold the glossy. That's how we did it. It was so much easier that way. So you can decide your strategy. We're going to talk about strategy tomorrow. So I'm going to choose matte, and it's going to ask me to upload a cover. And I don't think I have any covers. It's giving me an estimated price. Okay, right now, $5.90 based on everything I chose. It's telling me that this book is going to cost $5.90. Now, remember, it's only 3 pages in there. Okay, so I'm supposed to upload a cover. I don't have a cover, I don't think. Whoops, I didn't need to choose that. Well, I guess I could create one. Okay, so let me see. Do I have anything that I could create a cover with? I don't think so. No. Oh, okay. Let me just make something real quick on the fly. I'm not going to do anything fancy. So let me just go here. So you do have to have a cover. They want you, it has to be certain dimensions. Otherwise it will not take. And I think that's probably the worst part of this journey is making sure that your dimensions for things are right. If it's not, you're going to run into problems. So just a heads up. I think that was the thing that took me the longest to figure out. I'm probably not going to be able to figure it out this quick this way. So, hey, welcome to my world. All right. So I am going to just choose this so that we can get through this exercise. There you go. And what is my dimensions here? So 8.5 by 11. I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to download this and I'm going to download it as a PDF. Come on. I'm going to download this PDF print. Remember the style when you're doing multiples. So in other words, if yours ends up being project 1 and project 2, because you have to do project 1 and project 2, make sure that you go ahead and print it in the same, download it as PDF in the same. If you downloaded the interior standard, then download the exterior standard. If you downloaded the interior as PDF print, then download the exterior as PDF print. You can have a front to back to your book as well. I'm not doing a front to back right now. I'm literally just, just going to upload some stuff. So hopefully it's going to take. So it's going to check to see if it's in the right dimensions. And if it's not, then it's going to say nope. And it's going to reject it. And then I won't be able to go on. It's okay. Otherwise, I could do the Lulu quick template cover, which is right there. I can just write some words on something and then they'll move on from there. And you have one that is cover created, powered by Canva Beta, and you could choose that as well. But I'm just uploading a cover to go through this process. So we're at 0. Hopefully it will not take much longer. Although that cover had a lot of, it's a photo. So it's trying to make sure that the photo remains a good quality photo. Sometimes during this process, it can degrade. And I'm sorry, this is running longer than I thought it would just to do this. So give it just a second and then we'll flip through it if it goes. Maybe. We'll see. Come on. File is normalizing. Okay, come on. All right. So in the next class, we're going to talk about your planning before you even get started on turning your idea into a book, because you do have to do planning. In order for this to work, you have to plan it. And then the next thing will be designing it. And then you'll do some research before you create your first listing. And you can sell, you can sell your planners on Etsy. You can also sell them on other platforms. You can sell your books, like I said before, multiple places. So you want to look at other listings on the same platform to make sure that you create your listing exactly or in a similar way that the others were created in. Otherwise, your book is going to stand out or your listing is going to look weird. All right, I need a cough drop. Clearly. I just dropped everything. See, guys, you can't make this up. This is real life. Okay, so it didn't like my dimensions. Huh? And it wants me to be, it wants the long cover. Oh, I forgot about that. It wants that long cover. So it's trying to do the wrap around the front and the back of the book, but I hate that. That's what it's trying to do. I know exactly what it's doing. Okay, use our cover template to design. Because I'm not going to do any of that. It's fine. There's no words for that. Contributor, there's nothing else. Nothing. Okay. Select the template, 2-color, front cover image, centered spine image. Just going to do a front cover image and upload an image. I'm just going to put a logo. I know I got a logo somewhere. Okay. There we go. All right. So now that I have a logo, yeah, I don't care what this cover looks like. All right. So we're going to use this cover. I know it doesn't fit. Nothing about it is right. It's okay. We would just get through the exercise. So what it's done is, this is the back of the book. This is the front of the book. So, and this is where the spine is. So it's review your book cover. It's perfect. All right. So now here's my book down here. This was my book cover. I know that's trash. It's okay. This is the back of the book. This is the front of the book. Now you've got some other things you got to pay attention to. When you begin designing, that's the reason why I said we're going to do a planning session. You got to think about your margins. Your margins matter, because if stuff goes outside the margins, it's probably going to be a problem. So you can turn margins on or off when it comes to the printing process. We did a few different tests so we can figure out how close to the margins we could be without destroying or degrading the book. So if you want to do a test, you can do that, or you can just decide you're just going to stay inside the margins. The bleed means to bleed to the edges, bleed off of the edges. So again, when you turn it on or off, that's right around the edges. So sometimes you'll see books where, like this year, our book is going to have, we're going to go all the way to the end for the months of the year. So you'll see a little black indent. It'll look like an indent, but it's not really an indent. It'll be a marker all the way down the side of the book if you're looking at it from the front. And so that first one it'll be staggered. So the first one will be January, and then the second one will be February, March, April, May. And so that bleed allows us to go right up to the edge and put the January, then put the February, then put the March, then put the April. And we don't have to worry about that. So we will do the bleed off. Then the next one is the folds. So the book is going to be folded here, and whether or not you're going to have any problems with the folds. So you can see, I don't think you're going to have any problems. And then the trim. So the trim is that little black line that was around here. And that is one of the things that you care about is, the trim. So as I go through and open this book, which is not really the cover, but you get the idea. The first inside, this is blank on the inside. And then you have my first page. Again, because the book this is the inside cover and right here. So here, if you are, your book is going to be published, copywritten, and it's trademarked and all of this stuff, you get an ISBN number. And your ISBN number is normally what you would see right here, along with your trademark and your copyright. All that stuff would be on the inside cover, or you might have a blank page. So if you are going to produce a book where you want to have a blank page first, and then the next page on the back side of the next page is going to have the ISBN, then your first two pages are going to be blank pages. And you can write blank if you want to, just for the purposes of testing it. And then here's the next two pages. And as you can see, I'm clearly within the margins, the folds, the bleed, I'm within everything. This is a speaker agreement for the summit, but you get the idea. I didn't have anything else to upload. So you can actually flip through your book and see how it's going to look before you actually print it. You can make adjustments and re-upload your PDF by going all the way back up to the top. You can go all the way back up to the top and re-upload a new file. You can replace the file as many times as you want to, and then come down and see the effects. You can also, as your book has more pages, you'll also see the price change here. So you'll have an idea how much money you're going to be spending or not be spending, or how much this book is going to cost to print. Okay? So as you can see, there's some things you have to plan in order to do this. There's some things you're going to have to do in order to do this. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about planning. Definitely want you to bring a pen and paper. Planning might take a day or two. But the thing is that once you get the work done, then your product will live out in the universe. So from a standpoint of creating books versus creating designs, I could create the Canva design clearly in like 10 minutes or less. Upload it to a product and be able to sell it. Create my listing and be done in 20 minutes. A book definitely requires planning, but the value, because it will live out there forever if it's not date specific, it will live out there forever, and it can be sold over and over again. And so not that other print on demand products can't do the same thing, but the value, you can, the amount of money that you can make from books is a lot. You can make a lot from clothes too, and you can make a lot from other products, but you're going to invest more time in books, and there's going to be a longer term reward from books. The residuals are going to be potentially bananas versus other products. Like if you do shirts and t-shirts, that shirt or t-shirt or saying may only be popular for that season, maybe a second season, and then after that, it may no longer be the thing. So that's why I love about books. If you create a cookbook, people may still be buying your cookbook 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you create generic enough stuff, but being generic is not always a good thing, but something pertaining to your niche, it may still be popular 5 or 10 years from now as well. So anyway, I like books. It does require a little more planning, a little more involvement, and a little more exercise. And then once you're done and you say, okay, this is my book, and you accept it, you can review the book. and then you accept it, then it becomes a book that's in your inventory to be able to sell over and over again. So that is Lulu in a nutshell. We can continue going through this exercise and play with the same one. I'll get something with some real pages and a real cover so you can see what it looks like. So what questions can I answer before we jump off of here? And was this helpful to you all? Am I by myself?
We're still here.
Wow. I never know when I'm by myself. So let me just go and close this. All right. So was this helpful to you all?
It was a lot, but yes, I guess the process.
Go ahead, Miss Cassandra. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, yeah, it was good to see the whole process. I've done KDP, but nothing off of KDP. So it was good to see the process on Lulu.
Okay. Do you like KDP?
I think so. I like the fact that the audience is already there.
Yes.
That part of it, but yeah.
And I do like that as well. Yes, I agree. KDP is great. You've already got an audience there. It's just I feel like Lulu's pages are easier to navigate.
Okay.
So
good to know.
All right. Well, we are going to call it. So we're going to get started tomorrow doing talking through some of the things to begin putting together your book. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye for now.
Right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.